Hello and welcome to Morta. Morta is obviously a project management tool for property developers specialising in that field, so a very specialist product to help property developers globally deliver their construction projects. So it's construction management as well as the pre-purchase side of things. So it'll also manage your bids on land, bids on buildings, and that whole journey from feasibility right through to delivery. So this video is to give you a demonstration of the product and also a user guide to help you navigate the product and all of its features. Welcome to the dashboard, which you can see in front of you. So when you sign your organisation up, you'll be welcomed with your dashboard, which will be obviously have nothing on it. So everything will be at zero when you start until you start putting projects on there. So your organisation name will be on the top left where we can see Morta Test there, and you can see our logo has already been updated, which I'll show you how to do later on in the demonstration. What we'll focus on first of all is the most important bit, and that is our projects. So you go to your projects on your left toolbar here, and here you'll see all of your active projects. You can look at things in view, so it could be just my projects, so there'll be projects that you're assigned to. And you can also navigate projects at opportunity stage. Opportunity stage is the stage where you're just looking at land, looking at buildings, building your appraisal, and then putting your bids in. So it stays in that opportunity stage until you actually purchase the building/land. Delivery is obviously when you're in delivery stage, so you're planning and delivering the construction, refurbishment, whatever that may be, and then a project goes into post-delivery stage once you've completed that. And following your defects period, you can put it into archived, so it's not coming up on your general view. So you can navigate in between which ones you want to see. What we'll do here, so we've got 3 existing projects. I will add a project. You do this here by just clicking new project, and here you will put in the project basic information. So this is a project name. We're going to do this project in the UK. So we're going to do 1 Main Street, we'll call it, is the project's name. So this is obviously different to the address, whatever you want to call it. You could use what you're going to call it in your marketing collateral, and then it'll just automatically generate an ID. So as we like in property, we like everything, including documents and projects, to have their own unique ID. Easy for searching, easy for referencing. You can put your title deed number in here that you're looking at, so that can go in here or not, leave it blank. Put a description, so I'm just going to put this as an existing detached property to be refurbished. Sold. Project class, so this will be a residential, but you have your other ones here. For larger projects, you might be mixed use, industrial for everything from storage warehouses to data centres, etc., and your commercial for offices. But this one's going to be residential. Project status, we're just looking at this now, so we've just had some marketing materials from an agent. We're going to appraise it to see if we want to buy this one in. So it's available for sale. Hero image, this is where you can just put an image just to go on. It's not going to go anywhere, it's just going to be for you guys. When you've got a lot of projects, it might just be easier to navigate. So we'll put an image on here, and we'll just use this one here. Project address, so we'll just call it 1 Main Street, see what comes up in the UK. This is linked to Google, so it'll use all of Google's addresses. But this can be anywhere in the world. This is a global piece of software web app, so you can put any location in that you need and it will work with you. So we'll use the Peterborough one for now. I will show it on the map, and then we're going to create project. From here, you're now within the project, and this is your overview as you see on the top tabs here. So 1 Main Street is an opportunity, and we're currently in overview. It shows you your key information at the top, which is your project ID, its location, address, title deed if you put that in, and its class type. And then it will start now prompting you on your workflows. So this is an opportunity stage, so we're in the opportunity workflows, and we are at the very first stage, which is site highlighted. So we've highlighted the site, we've put the details in, so we've now completed that very first start procedure of this project. So mark complete. These are also editable, so if you want to put your own workflows in, you can do that, but we have done this as a property developer and they are very useful. So I would suggest you run through these first because it gives you some really good prompts, and if you still want to change it, then you can do that in your settings later on. So this is projected to the development appraisal. So this is where obviously a key part for a property developer is to appraise the site, the financials, the risks and everything in between. So first thing I'm going to do is go to view, edit my budget for this, which will be your appraisal. And you come to the commercial section of the project. So you can see here, it's a really nice screen, really easy to read. You've got your current budget and it's got all of your main KPIs at the top. The way we've built this is to make sure that your key information is there straight away and then you can choose to go into the detail. I know myself as a developer, a lot of the times I'm quite busy and I just need to see the key financials and I can go from there. So the first thing I'm going to put in is my projected revenue for this one. So let's say I'm going to refurbish this house and it will be worth, let's say, well, I'm going to change the currency first, which will be in GBP because this is in the UK, so British pound, but you can choose any currency you want. So that's in GBP. I'm going to say that the projected sale price of this one property, so it's just going to be one property for this project. Let's say the projected sale price is £1 million once it's refurbed and looking spectacular. And then the net revenue is just simply what I work out to be the net after I've paid the agents and the solicitors for the sale of the property. So let's say after everybody's paid, that nets down to 920,000 that gets transferred to us on sale. I'm going to press save here. So that's our revenue, and this is just our overview of the cost budget here. And you fill these in by going through the tabs at the top. So we're going to start with our land purchase. We're going to put this in as a £300,000 purchase price. You can add a note here, any notes you want which are pertinent to this, so it's a really good feature for you to add notes in every screen, whether it's against a line item or you can just add a new note here. It'll help you with your colleagues if you do have them, or if it's just yourself when you're looking back in a few years' time, you can see the notes of how you got to these different sums and category notes down here as well. So it's really good to just add notes against everything, so you've got a clean record. So it's £300,000 purchase price. We're going to say the land tax on here, we're going to work out as a percentage of our purchase price. So let's just say this works out at 2% for our land tax stamp duty. I know it's more and it's a sliding scale in the UK. There's no VAT on this, it's residential or sales tax, whichever wording you use, but everywhere around the world has that. My legal fees, obviously some parts of the world you won't have this. So my legal fees, there are legal fees in the UK, the way conveyancing works. So let's say my legal fees for this are £4,000. You can add items on here as well. So let's say you had other categories that you wanted to put into your purchase price field. You can simply add an item. What it's doing now as well, that's a good prompt. It has an autosave function. So as you can see at the bottom of the screen, just a reminder there that it was autosaved. So we're going to add an item and it comes up here and you can edit your items just by clicking on them. Just call that the 2. And so we've got legal fees. We won't put anything in other or other 2. Oh, we'll put £1,000 in other 2. And that could be a intro fee. Or you can even change the other 2 to intro fee, however you work and whatever is best for you. And then always say that although it's got an autosave function, I always make sure I've saved it before I move into the next tab. And the system will tell you if you haven't saved something before you move into the next tab. So here is the exact same formula. So land purchase, professional fees, these main categories you can add, make this a huge list if you like, if you go into finite detail, or you can simply just add a sum into one of the columns. So let's just say all of my professional fees are coming out at £10,000. I don't want to be filling out all of them because I've got a fixed contract with one supplier. You could simply just put £10,000 in here, and then it'll just show that your professional fees have come to a total of £10,000 at the bottom right there. And you can even put in there fixed one-off fee for all professionals. That's there, and you save. But again, go into detail if you like. Planning and permit fees, the one we all love as developers. So in the UK you have planning fees, rest of the world you have permit fees for different municipalities and jurisdictions and different stakeholders that you answer to. So let's say this has a planning fee of £3,600, and that will be a local authority planning fee. Save that. Preliminaries, so this is for you as a developer, and so obviously we have heard about preliminaries before for our main contractors and subcontractors who would have their own preliminaries, but this one is for you as a developer because obviously there's a cost to you managing this project. So these are your own preliminaries, and everything outside the contractors you use, or if you do manage the whole project with your own staff, then you can use this column for that as well. So for this one, I've got a project manager overseeing it on our side as the developer, as the client and owner. So I'm just going to put in a project manager here. I'm going to say that it's a 12-week project. They're on there 2 days a week, so it's £2,000, so £1,000 per week. So I'm just going to add a note there so they know how I figured it out. There will be a later edition on Morta as well where you can just put in your weeks and day allocations. But here I'm going to say day rate of 500. I'm going to put 2 days per week times 12 weeks. Which will obviously be £12,000. And that's your prelims there. I may have the project manager is going to do all of the commercial functions as well. It's a smaller project, so I don't need separate commercial managers. I'm just going to have an administrator, so an admin assistant, who will be in there for say £8,000 for this project. Your insurances, so that can include your building insurance. So we've obviously on this one we're purchasing a property, but it could be a land insurances, so your liability insurance, etc., etc. So for this property, it's a £300,000 property. The insurance per year is £1,600. I'm only going to have the project for a year because, let's say I'm only doing a refurb, which is 6 months, and then gives me an extra 6 months to sell it. So I'm just going to project that I'm just paying 1 full year's insurance. Liability, it's all inclusive in my insurance. Contracts or risks. On this one, I'm going to use a contractor, our main contractor, who includes their own all risks policy, so 0 there. Site costs, security, I'm just going to have, say, cameras up here, monitored cameras whilst it's under refurbishment. Let's say they cost £200 per week. So £200 per week. And we're looking at 12 weeks, obviously, as we said earlier, for this project. Means we've got £2,400 as a cost there. Hoarding, so I've got security hoarding around the front, some Harris fencing or some ply-lined board with some advertising on. That's going to cost me, let's say, £3,800. And then I've got utilities, so they're going to be using some electricity and water throughout the build. So let's just say I've got that as £100 a month, 6-month build. So I'm just going to put £600 for that. And then an overheads contribution. So this could be for you and your company. So especially if you're a bigger company, it obviously costs money to run your offices and run all of your staff that aren't within a project. Your accountants team, your marketing team, they all have a cost to them. So you may have a standard overheads contribution which each project has to give you. Let's say on this one that I want to collect, or allocate, should I say, £4,000, which goes to my office overheads as a true cost of running all of these projects. And that's that. Save from there. And then your exact same on your construction. So this is all of your construction specific costs. So again, they have their own preliminaries. You can break that down further by adding items here or adding items below preliminaries, which you can do here. So if you add the plus on the actions to the right, as I just did there, you get a new sub-item. So preliminaries, and you could have a sub-item where you go into, you know, your contractor's site manager, your contractor's site foreman, carpenter, whatever's in the preliminaries for the contractor. What I'm going to do here, though, is because I'm using a primary main contractor who's doing all of the works on a fixed lump sum basis, I'm simply going to fill out one of these, which I'm just going to use preliminaries for now. Get rid of the sub-item. And we're going to put, I've got a quote in for £300,000 to do all of the work, all inclusive, on a fixed lump sum basis. Again, you can, if you've got to do the construction yourself in-house, or you want to give the full breakdown, you can do that, and it's an unlimited amount of items. You can go into as much detail as you want. Obviously on an appraisal, you don't tend to go into loads of detail, so you're building your appraisal. When you're looking at land, you want to do it quite quickly. So I'm just putting that in there like that, like you would do in reality. And again, you've got an extra one here where you can separate your contractor's overhead and profit, but I'm just going to put in here fixed lump sum for all work by one contractor. Save changes there. Other, so this is where you can just add your other items, as many of the things you want that don't fall in within the main headers of the budget. So this could be anything. So we've got here connections, so your utility connections, stat authorities that get connected. It could be council tax or business rates, whatever you think falls outside of these main headings. You can add as many items as you want, the cost that you want to forecast. So this has already got, it's an existing house, it's already got connections for water, gas and electric. So I'll just put in here already connected, save that there. And then on lending costs, so this is the really nice part. This is the really nice part of the commercial side, which will give you a full breakdown, including compounded interest for your loan. So a lot of developers are using loans to deliver their projects. So let's say here we've come through now, our total costs are coming out at 656,400, as you can see there. And let's say we have a lender that we want to take borrowing at 70% of the cost, so a 70% loan to cost. I'll change that to percentage first, and we'll go 70%, and that works that out for you. That's your total loan amount. So you're gonna look to borrow £459,480. And then you've got below here your additional cost that the lender charges you for their various items that they need to do. So this is outside of your interest rate. So let's say they need their valuer surveyor to go around and they charge £3,000. You've got your legal fees for the lender. So this is obviously outside of your purchase, your own legal fees for your purchase. So this could be your lender's main legal fees to make sure they're purchasing it incorrectly. And let's say they're £2,500. Lender arrangement fees, that's usually a percentage of your total borrowings. So let's say it's 1% on here. So we're just going to go 4,594. Broker fee, so if you've got a broker that's introduced the finance for you, we're going to say we're direct with the lender here, so we don't have that. Settlement fees, how much do they charge when you redeem the loan at the end of the development? And let's say that's going to be 1% of the loan amount. So we're going to go 594. And then your monitoring fees. So if you're doing development finance, the bank will obviously send their own inspectors to make sure work is going according to plan, and your drawdown reports and QS reports. So again, you can add items here as well. If there's more things that you need to pay for, you can add as many things as you want. We're going to say the QS report is £1,500, and we've got, let's say, drawdown reports. So let's say it's a 6-month project and I want to draw down against the loan 6 times, so once a month. And let's say each report is £500. So we're going to go £500 times 6, which is 500. And then you could put notes here if you want. You could put the name of your lender and how they work. And below this is where we come into the interest calculation. So this is the really cool bit of Morta, where it will work out compounded interest if you do drawdowns per month. So let's say my level of my senior debt, they are charging me 9% per annum. My loan duration is going to be 12 months, so I'm doing a 6-month build and then an extra 6 months on the loan in order for me to get the property sold. And let's say I am going to be compounded interest here. I'm going to be drawing monthly, and the interest is added to the loan each month. So I'm not going to service the interest, and it's going to be added to the loan. So we do that. Calculation method, are you doing it all drawn down in 1 month? So does your lender give you the full amount? No, they're not going to on a development. They're going to do gradual drawdown against the works that you've completed. So we do gradual drawdown, and here is where you put your projected drawdown so it can work out what interest you're going to look at. So let's say we're in September now. Let's say I'm going to purchase this property in 4 weeks. So let's just say, for instance, we're going to complete on the 10th of October. The initial loan is going to be a larger amount because we're also drawing on the current value of the property. So let's say, for instance, we're doing £200,000 as our first drawdown. I'm going to add another drawdown. So I'm going to do my second drawdown a month later. Say we're going to be there. And this one's going to be £123,000. All the while, this is also keeping you a total of your amount remaining of your loan. So you don't have to guess, oh, I'm doing these drawdowns, what's the final amount? It's deducting it from your total loan amount here. So I know that I've got to account for another £136,480 of the loan to draw down. So I'm going to do the next one. I'm going to do £83,000. So I've got another 53,000 to do. That's 18. My very last drawdown is the remaining 6,780 is my final drawdown in February. That's right, 779 remaining. So that will then show me my total interest payable, which will be added into the cost of this project, and your total repayment amount. That works out at. So that gives you your total lending cost at the bottom here of £62,063.33. I'm going to save that now. Right, I've finished now my appraisal project budget. I'm going to go back to my summary to see what that gives me. There you can see a prompt here, unsaved changes. So it's saying, do you really want to navigate away from this when you haven't saved? So a nice prompt there just in case you forgot to save. I'm going to cancel. I'm going to save my changes. I'm going to go to summary. So you can see here on your main KPIs have now been populated. So now you have your total project cost coming in at 718,463. So that is the total of everything, buying the property, delivering it, selling it, absolutely everything. Your total borrowings, so this shows you how much you're going to borrow from the bank. This really, really important for developers. It's showing the cash equity you require for this deal. So really important feature, something people overlook. This is showing me how much money I need to put into this deal to meet its costs. That's simply the total costs minus what you're going to get from the bank, what's left for you to put into this deal. And then after everything, it's telling you what your net profit is projected on. So we've got a £200,000 profit projected on this project, which is a 28.1% return. So I'm happy with all that. All that looks good. You can also download. So in every feature here, you can download a PDF or a CSV file. I'm going to show you a PDF here. Everything's branded, so if you want to send this to a lender or a colleague or present to a director, however you want to do it, then you can do that, and we'll just get that up for you. So as you can see here, I've gone to the PDF that I've created. It's got my logo on the left, so everything's really nicely white labelled for your company. Really professional, really sleek. We've got a lot of these reports and printouts that we have throughout Morta to make sure you're sort of standing above all of your competitors and looking really slick to all of your stakeholders as well. You see here it's got the main project, it's got the project name, the ID it's got, the description, the address, all of the key details. And the first thing you see is exactly what we want to see at high level, which is our KPIs for this project. So it's telling me what this project is looking like. And if I want to go into the detail, it's all below us here. So we can see here, all below, right to the end, the last page, and it summarises again for you. So it's got everything there. You can look on your screen, you can PDF, you can WhatsApp it to somebody, email it to somebody, whatever you need. From there, I'm now going to go back to my overview to work through my stages. So I've done my appraisal now. I'm now going to look at that. So it's giving my appraisal numbers. So all those key bits of information that we need when we're appraising a development site. And here, so we've also got within Morta a lovely sleek approval setup. So this is where there's a couple of people in the project or in your company, should I say, the organisation. Only certain people can approve a land bid or a development project to proceed, but have people working who build all of these appraisals for you. But equally, even if it's just yourself on your own, being a solopreneur, being a property entrepreneur and delivering this yourself, all you can do is you obviously can put your max bids in and it will come back to yourself within Morta for you to do another quick overview of your numbers before you approve it to get to bid. So here, if you can recall, in the budget, we were looking at a £300,000 purchase, which we got into the budget. So I want the max bid here to be £300,000 for me to purchase this property. That's the maximum we can go to in order for these numbers to work. Continue there. So it's asking you there, you just want to make sure you're happy with your numbers. So you're asking your board or your director or yourself for approval to go up to a max bid on this property of £300,000. It's giving you your key financials again, so your gross revenue, your net revenue, and your total project costs. Yep, I've checked that, I'm happy with it, go. What happens here is Morta then sends this to an admin within Morta, within your Morta app, for them to approve you to bid for this. So like I say, if you are a solopreneur on your own, then this will just come to you through a notification to say, yes, you need to come back and approve this offer that you've put in. So here now we've gone to appraisal. So we've got the key numbers again for you to look at. So you've got your maximum bid amount that you've put in, your key appraisal numbers, quick breakdown again. So again, feeding you just this key information that you want to look at all the time. Project summary and your max bid amount here. Yep, double checked, absolutely everything's fine. I want the physical approval on Morta to be sent to the right person. So again, ask you again, you double make sure all your numbers are correct. Yep, I'm happy. Send for formal approval through the Morta app. That will do that, and then we should get here, you can see a notification at the bottom saying you've sent it for required for board approval, you've sent it for board approval, and what you've also got, and a nice nifty up here, is your notification bell up here. Because you are the person, you are an admin, you've been sent a notification here to say board approval is required for this project. You click on it and it'll send you straight back to here as the admin to review the numbers. So you can come back straight here, so it's sent us straight back to where we were. You can also print out a board report, another nifty PDF. So if you're presenting to your colleagues, to your directors, your CEO, whatever that is, or to yourself in your living room, doesn't really matter. You can produce a PDF report which has everything that you need for approval. So again, board approval report is showing you what maximum bid we want to go to, your key financials, and again your full breakdown. So you can present this on a screen however you want to do it. You just download there. And you've got a PDF to email, WhatsApp, however you want to do it. So I'm the person approving this, so I've come in as the CEO, I'm looking at this, right, I've got that board report, I can look at the historic bids, I want the key financials here. I could even go into the project and go to the commercial section to review the budget in here if I wanted to. So you go into commercial tab here, and I can go into the finer details of the budget if that's what I want to do, or the board report will tell me all of this anyway. What you can also see when you come through to the commercial and budget, Morta has put a lock on the budget. The way this has been done this way because it's now been sent for approval, so we need nobody to edit this budget whilst it's being approved, because the last thing we want as a director, as a CEO, is get something for approval, you need 24 hours to look at it. The original report that you got given, somebody's now gone back in and changed all of the numbers in the budget. We don't want that, so it gets locked down. So this cannot be changed until you've either rejected or approved the bid. So if we go back to overview. Now at board approval stage. So I've gone in here, yep, I'm happy with this. It's meeting our criteria as a company, which is a minimum 20% profit margin. That's getting that. The report tells me that we're over 20%. It's locked for approval. Yeah, I'm going to approve you, my colleague, to go and bid up to a maximum amount of that. So that's been approved. Again, asking me, make sure you are approving this. The approval confirmation disclaimer there. And the person doing this has to put in their full name for it to work. So we've done that. And now, again, you get another notification. Right, that's now approved. Report's gone in to be downloaded, another notification to say, right, this is now approved for bidding. So you've got another notification. You can mark all those as red now because I've read them all. And we'll come back in. It's now gone automatically to the next stage, which is submit our offer. So we are now at submit offer. We are looking to produce a offer letter, which the system will do for us. So we can put the seller details in here, so we can add a contact, or we can put their angel in, or both. Their agent and representative. So I'm direct with the seller here, so I'm just going to put the seller's name. So I'm going to put John Johnson, designation owner / seller. Company, there is no company that he's in. Email, we'll just put as John at John. Got any numbers, any area codes you want. but you don't have to put that either. So we've created that contact. I'm going to put him in as a seller. Offer details. Right, here is where I want to form my offer for this property. So I'm going to put a brief description. It's an existing detached property. Title number X. Offer amount, obviously you wouldn't usually start your maximum offer, so let's say we're going in at 280,000, we're approved up to 300,000. As you can see here, which I'm going to demonstrate, if I wanted to go above 300,000, 301, just come up with an R. It will not let you put an offer in because you're exceeding your approved limit, so the system won't let you do it. So we'll go back to 280,000. Conditions of offer. So we're going to do this conditional on contract. We're going to do structural survey, asbestos survey, clean title. You could put 6 months delayed completion. Anything you want on here is the conditions of your offer. Right, I put that in. I'm going to preview my offer letter. So the offer letter's here. It's nice and white labelled again with your logo on here. The purchaser, so that's going to be your organisation name. So we're in as Morta Test in Dubai, which is where we're based. But you will be, like I said, John Homes, John Properties, and your full address there. The seller's details, to make that clear. And then the property details that you are bidding on. So it's got all of the address and the main details. Land description, what we put in there has been populated. Our offer is £280,000. The conditions of our offer are underneath there. And then a nice little legal notice to make sure you're protected there as well. So I'm happy with that, and I want to send it straight away to John. So his email's already in, the contact's already in the system, so I'm just going to send the offer letter straight to him. You can confirm and download it, but the system will also email it directly for you. Or if you want to send it on WhatsApp, you just simply download the PDF and do it your own way manually. So the system, the way it works, the minute it'll send it and it'll tell you that it's been sent here. So it waits until it's actually gone in and your offer's now being submitted to John, which that nice little pop-up in the bottom right. So then you'll come back in here and it shows that you've got a current submitted offer. So let's say this offer's gone in. You can download the offer letter again, which we've just viewed here if you want to have a see it. But let's say John's fed back and said, no, look, that's too low. I need to be closer to the asking price. So he's rejected your offer. Reason, bid too low. Rejected. So all the time you're feeding information into Morta as your main software, so you've got a really nice history of every bit of event on every project. So if you come back to this in 6 years' time, it's there. You know exactly what happened, when it happened, so you've got timestamps, date stamps to everything that's done. So I know that 3:40 p.m. today, on September 16th, I submitted the offer and then it was rejected at 3:41 p.m. I told the system it was rejected. So we've got a rejected offer, which will stay in our history, and now I want to put an improved offer in. So it's kept all of the details I put in before. I want my conditions of offer remaining the same. All I'm going to do is increase my offer. So let's say we're going up to £295,000 as our final bid. Again, preview and submit. This time I'm just going to confirm that offer letter is fine. I'm going to download my offer letter here. So I can download the offer letter and send it manually. But I fed back. John's called me and said, we have a deal. We have a deal at 295,000. I'm happy with your conditions. So I'm telling Morta now, brilliant, I've had my offer accepted. And I'm going to accept the offer, and what Morta will do is notify all of the interested parties. So obviously the only one we've put in at the minute, because we're direct with the seller, is John himself, but it may be his agent or anybody else, and you can add recipients in there. So you can even add your organisation contacts, the contacts that you've put in the system, or your colleagues, add email address, whatever you want. But yep, we've accepted the offer. I'm going to confirm accepted. So John gets a lovely little email as well saying, congrats, you've accepted an offer on this property. We now have an accepted offer, and our next port of call will be to instruct legals or instruct the contract to be formed with the agent, however it works in your country. So offer accepted, we've now marked that stage as complete, so we can go to the next stage. Following the last stage, we've now got a lovely accepted offer in green. Again, shows you all of the details here when you come back to that screen. You can again download the offer letter for your records, save it in your files, however you want to do it. But we're at that now 5th stage, which is offer accepted. We now have the history as well of all the stages, and we now want to mark that as complete. So that stage is now complete. We'll move to the next workflow stage, which is instruct legals / instruct agents to form the contracts. They obviously need the details of the accepted offer and all of the conditions, etc., so the contract can be formed. So in the UK, we use conveyancers, solicitors to do that for us. So in here, the next step is to instruct our legals, and we can add the buyer lawyers in here. So we can add the buyer lawyers as a contact, and we can do the exact same with the seller. So I'll quickly do that now. So we're going to put lawyer Jane, designation lawyer, company, we haven't got a company saved in this, I'm going to create a new company. So we can easily do that. Instead of going back into contacts, there's always that prompt to do that here. So the company name is Jane Law. You can put the company logo on if you want, industry law. Size of the company, 1 to 2 employees. Property lawyers. Website, don't need to put that in. Don't need the email for the company because I always deal with one person direct. And we can say that they're based in, let's say, Leeds, UK. The company, so that's now Jane Law assigned to that company. Email for Jane, so we can put Jane at jane.com. Again, put the number in if you want, and this one is a lawyer, so I want to mark them as a lawyer. Create that contact. That's now saved as the buyer's lawyer, so they're working for us because obviously we're buying this property in, so Jane works for us. Forgive the spelling, I'm sure you'll do it correctly when you're doing it. So let's say the opposite one is Roman, designation lawyer, so this is the seller's lawyer. Select a company, I want to create a new company for this law firm as well, so let's go Row Law. Let's do that, create the company, not putting the address in for this one, designate as a lawyer, create contact, oh, I forgot the email, so we'll put Row com. So now we have both our lawyers in, so buyer lawyer, seller lawyer. Legal representation is optional. Obviously not every country works the same and not everybody uses lawyers. Sometimes they do things in-house, so you don't have to do this. Notification of purchase details. We also want to tell the lawyers when we would like this contract to be targeted for. So I'm going to give them, let's say, a month for this contract to be formed, agreed and executed. So we're going to go 16th of October is our target completion date for the contract. And then preview your notification of this purchase to the lawyers. So this is where it gets sent to all of the stakeholders involved. So again, has your purchaser details, which is your organisation name. The property details repeated on here so everyone knows what that is, exactly what offer's been agreed. Our proposed contract date is the 16th of October, a month's time. Our offer amount, which has been agreed, is the 295. Property description, so all of the lawyers know exactly what we are offer agreed on. There's no lost in translation. We've got clear conditions on there, so the contract is formed correctly. And you've got your party contacts here. So the seller contact there. Legal representatives are both there, so it can work as, this can also work as a heads of terms, lawyer notifications, however you want to do it. And again, nice little production timestamp on there. So I'm happy with that. That's all correct. I've checked it. Confirm and submit. So that's now ready for approval. So again, goes through this approval matrix, a really nice one to stop junior staff or new staff or whoever you don't want committing your company to bids. Doing so, it has to be an admin of the system, which is a company owner, a director that approves these bids to make sure we've got that control that we all like as property developers. Things are getting out of control. So I've come in, I'm the CEO, I've come in, I've said, right, I'm happy with that. I can download the letter again if I want. I'm happy with it. I want it sent to the respective parties. So it's already copied in all the respective parties that you've put into the document, as you can see here, but you can add other people. You might want your accounts team copied in or whoever. But I'm happy with that now, so I'm going to approve and send. And what Morta will do for you now is send all those emails out and it feeds back that it's actually been sent and delivered. So that's where it'll take a couple of seconds because it wants to communicate back. Gone to our next screen and that's now been delivered. It's now automatically sent us to the next stage, which is acquire the site. So obviously you'll do your legal progression in the background. You can add notes whenever you want. So let's say I'm progressing my purchase and come back in here. I've made a quick call log. I've had a call with seller lawyer. The date today. Let's just say whatever. 16th, 9th, 25. It'll have a timestamp, so you don't really need to put that. And you can just put summary of the call. Could be confirmed, notification received, working on contract. So I'm going to save that as a note because I've called them today. You can do an email log, task note, whatever you can just do a quick note. The seller is happy. Whatever you want to put on there as your notes. So you're constantly updating your system for all of your colleagues and for you to see in the future, so you can see the full history of your project. And you can just go to that drop down up at the top right if you're coming back into this project, or you've slept since and done 20 other things. What did I do yesterday on this? What did I do last week on this? It's all there. So you can quickly down there, look at the notes you've put on with the exact timestamps. I can expand it to give me an expanded view. So say I did that a minute ago, I did that less than a minute ago, which will have exact time and date stamps on them. So really good to keep a really good accurate record of everything. Everything we usually do on Excel spreadsheets or just don't do, let's be honest. We just end up not doing it. We do the bare minimum because it's such a complicated and arduous process to update everything all the time. When you're doing it once and it updates everybody and everything, that's the beauty of Morta. So now we've gone through our legals and let's say, right, we've now completed our purchase. So I'm going to mark it as complete. What was the date of your completion? So this is where you can manually put it in because you may come back to Morta a couple of days after you completed. You're all over the place. You can confirm in here, so there's a nice clear record of when your purchase of this property actually happened. So let's say it happened as planned on October. I'm going to confirm our completion date. Again, this can't be backtracked, so it can't be edited. So you need to put in your clear legal completion date. And it's automatically moved us to the next stage. So we've finished all of our opportunity stages, 7 out of 7 fully complete. We're now at delivery stages. So we've acquired it. Now we're doing all of the things we usually do, from insurances in place to building out our program to speaking to our different stakeholders. Again, you can be adding notes at all times, all of the conversations you've had, the progress you've been making. So we're at overview here. And you can move through the stages as you complete them. So it's really easy. You just mark as complete each time you do it. So we're at planning and building applications. You may say this already had planning, so I don't need to do that. So it's already complete. So the next stage, it automatically moves you to full construction design. So this is where your architects and engineers love telling you how complicated all of the designs are, and you get your specific detailed designs for how you're going to build this thing. So that's in that stage. So again, you can add contacts and your stakeholders in here as well by just going to the left on contacts and adding them in there, which we'll come to later on. You can go back to your previous stages to view them just by clicking on this button down here. They're all green, but some of them may still need doing, so you may get to the point where you've had to skip a few stages because it's the way it happens, and you can move them back out of completed and back live and go back, or you can step forward a few stages. So it's all really straightforward, and like I say, if you do want to change it, change your workflow stages, it's really simple. You just go to settings in here, general settings, and you go to stage templates at the top. So that's where you can edit the current stages, add them, reset to default, all in here with these buttons here. Really simple and easy to use. We'll go back to our projects because this is where we're going to be spending most of our time. So I'm going to go back into the project we just did, which was 1 Main Street. It's now at delivery stage, as you can see up here on the top left. So we're now in delivery stage. Right, we're now going to be looking, the main part of this project is delivery. So I want to first of all look at team members. So who's going to be within my project team here. So this is obviously internal to your organisation. So we can add organisation users. So again, we'll go through to how you add users into the system. But it's again really simple, just very intuitive buttons like this. So currently we've only got one user within Morta, in addition to myself for this demo. So I'm going to invite Alyssa to this project so she can now partake in this project. So this is the bit where you keep all your team together. So again, they're really self-explanatory, the bits at the top here, how you run your project. All the terminology that we're all used to. Really, really simple, really clean, really elegant how to use. No complicated Excel spreadsheets that are all different. This is the exact opposite of that. So we've got our overview, which is our overview of our project, all the details and the workflow stages that we work through. But as we're doing that, we've got two main parts of our project. Our operations, our day-to-day operations of delivering this project, which is your project management site team, etc., and your commercial side, which is your obviously QS, different terminology used worldwide as well. We'll be looking at your contracts and financials. So if you go into your operations bit, you get another subtask here. So you've got a really nice little planner here with Gantt chart. Works really simply. You can add all your tasks in, put your dates in, edit those at any point. It'll create your project planner for you. You can download it as PDF in an A1. And it'll be a nice one there. So it's automatically got 3 tasks in, but once you build that out with 50, 60 tasks of your program, it could be a design program / schedule, as our American friends like to call it, or it could be anything else. You can be as detailed or as undetailed as you like. Another beauty of Morta is, you don't have to run this like a multi-billion-pound construction development company. It works perfectly both for the one-man band right up to those £1 billion companies, £10 billion companies, whatever they are. So yeah, do the program, we can update that all times. We can also mark progress against it. We can look at different views, we can show task views, we can save the planner as a template as well to come back to it at a later stage. You also have your project tasks. So another good thing here what Morta will give you is we have some template tasks which we can add in. So look at all of our tasks for this project. You can see here you've got a default template you can use, which we use in our development company. So I'm going to use that template and it'll highlight your project tasks that you need. So update project details, assign project team. We've already done that. We've done those 2 things. So we're going to click them off perfectly. You can go in and edit these for priority. You can also assign your colleagues. So let's say add key contacts into Morta. Right, I want Alyssa to do that. So I'm going to assign that task to Alyssa. Really easy to do. And then I'm also going to look to edit that. Not let me edit the minutes on it. Oh, you have to go on there, sorry. So you can go also, after assigning, you can go into edit. So I just click key contacts there. I've assigned it to my colleague Alyssa in the organisation for her to do. I'm going to click the edit because I want to put in a due date here. I want this done. It's high priority. It's to do straight away, and let's just say that's due for tomorrow, so I want it done in the next 24 hours. And the beauty of this is Alyssa will get a notification straight away in her little bell on the top right to say that you've just been assigned a task, it's due tomorrow, high priority. And that will also be in her screen when she comes into her personal tasks. And you can add more. We can add another one stating buy coffee for everyone. That task has been added successfully. Buy coffee for everyone. I can assign that to myself. Add and work through this. This will be where your main screen. You want to be boxing these off, assigning them to different people. And then your next bit is your notes for the project. So we were in here earlier, you can add different notes, keep adding notes from here, but from all screens you can always add a new note just to make sure your colleagues and Morta itself is kept updated for, like I say, if your colleague needs to come in if you're off sick, or if you need to look back at this yourself in a few years' time, because none of us have memory that good. You also have a really nice little chat for the project team. So this works similar to WhatsApp, So you can all message on here. It's all kept within Morta, so you've got a really good record when people leave and WhatsApp number changes. So this is how you'd communicate with your team. So I can put on there hello, and that's again got nice timestamps on it, little emojis, comments on it, and then the rest of the team can come in here, send messages throughout. So this works well on your mobile as well whilst you're on the move. Keeps it in a more centralised place where everyone has access to. Next bit, really good part of Morta, we've built our own inspection tool. So there's a snagging tool / regular inspection, however you want to do it. So I'm going to create a new inspection report. So let's say this is a monthly visit. And what was the inspection time and date? Let's just say it is today. It's already populated. It's already pulled through the address for the project. I'm going to create this log. So it's now created for the correct date and the details, and you've got your summary here of all of your items on your inspection report in different formats. You can go all unresolved, resolved, actionable, non-actionable. This is really good. So we can add issues here. So you can put site visit commenced 12 p.m. It's a non-actionable item. I'm just putting on my inspection report with a picture to prove that I was there at 12 p.m. Assigned to, doesn't really need a assignee, so I'll just keep it as myself. You can put an image on here, and that's just doing that. And then you want to add more items. So let's say you've come across uneven floor, joists need resetting. This is an actionable item, so you're going to keep that selected. You can assign it to the joinery contractor, to your main contractor, whoever that is. That'll all be part of here. You can add new contacts if need be. So let's just say I'm just going to select a lawyer. Why we would, I don't know, but it's just there. So there, and you can put the due date, how urgent this is. I do want it done in the next 24 hours. Again, upload another image of the issue. Again, you can do this all on the move, on your phone, on your iPad, whatever that may be. And you've got your second one. What will also happen here when it's a genuine picture rather than picking from a file, so when you've taken a picture on your phone, it pulls through the metadata, so it's clearly proved. So it'll show the location here underneath the picture where you can see the location tag, and it'll also show you the exact date and time that picture was taken. So this helps you from a legal standpoint, or for the usual arguments that you have on sites. Let's be honest, that wasn't like that. So that wasn't like that when I visited. Oh, here's the picture, here's when it was taken, here's the location. That picture on my site. You can have all those arguments. It does it automatically for you. You can download the report. So at the minute I've got it as all my items. I've got it as all assignees. I want to download the full report. You can do it as a CSV file, which obviously won't pull the pictures through. It'll just be the descriptions. Or you can do it as a PDF, and it'll show you this PDF generator. Again, really slick. So you've got your own logo, all white labelled for you, really professional. It's got the project details for everyone to see, the total number of issues, location, your completion rates, and it's got each item individually referenced. That one's a non-actionable item. I'm just taking a picture when I arrived at site. And the next one is an actionable item, and you can see that I put a description there. It's assigned to this person to fix. And what you can also, you download that as a PDF there and send it on to whoever you want. But you can also do this as a assignee. So let's just say I want to send John his list of items. So this will break down just John's items. You can do again, download PDF, really good. And then you can also navigate. As you're progressing this inspection, you mark items as resolved. So let's say John reports back to you that he's now resolved that item. You've been given a picture. You can upload the picture again if you like. But you're happy now that item has been resolved, so you mark it as resolved and it disappears from your main inspection, and it'll just come up where the items are resolved. So you can filter your reports as you need them, as it works in practice. Next one is RFIs. RFIs, for people who don't know, are request for further information. So this will usually be to your professional team, contractors, information that you're missing, whether it be drawings, spec sheets, anything you could possibly think of. Here is a space for you to create the request and track all of your requests so they're not forgotten. So really simple, like everywhere else. You can just new RFI, description, need detailed drawings of swimming pool, due by, I need to have this by the end of this week so I can get onto it next week. and then the assignee, select the resource. That could be an internal person or it could be the architect. This would obviously go to the architect or engineer, and you can assign that to them. So there, create the RFI. That will now create it. It's now in the RFI, so you have the room there to put the response. So once that's been sent back to you and you're happy you've got the details, you can say, right, response, I've received the drawings and markers resolved down there on the bottom left. Or you can go back to your full RFI screen, which details individual RFIs here. And again, you can do it from there. So you can view it, you can resolve it from here, add more RFIs. So this can be site report, something that hasn't been received on time, so you want to add it to your RFI. That should have been received yesterday, it's not, so I want it today. Select a resource, that could be someone internal, so that could be your site manager, or that could be the site manager for the contractor that works for you. And you create that RFI there. Same screen, you can go back to your main RFI screen and you can build up all of your RFIs, resolve them as you see fit. You can do it by assignees, just like you did in inspection. Or you can download your full RFI. If you're going into a meeting, you want it on screen, download your full RFI schedule. Really slick again, branded, really easy, professional looking, and you can do that. So now we will move on to the commercial section. We'll move on to the commercial section, which has some very, very useful tools, not only for your commercial team, but you as an owner, and also the operations team as well, to focus on budget, which obviously is the main focus for any project, to make sure you're delivering on budget or close to, and there's plenty of margin in the job. So as you notice on the screen here, it notifies you that the budget's locked. So the budget that we've put in and that you have approved needs to obviously stay as a budget for the job, because obviously you want to perform against your budget. So what happens now in the commercial section is now you will procure your items, you will deliver the scheme against the budget. So obviously as an admin, as the owner, you can open up the initial budget for editing if you deem it fit. So if something changes, I don't know, you find out that you can build another 10 apartments in an apartment block, it's going to cost more, but equally you're going to make more profit, so you might want to edit it then. But as a rule of thumb, once we're at delivery now and we're delivering this project, you obviously want the budget to be locked and for yourself or your team to perform against that budget. So this budget now stays locked, and you will manage your procurement and spend across from this budget. So next you will move on to procurement. So you've got all these items here in your budget which are now fixed, and as you see can't be edited unless you're an admin and you want to make it open for edit. So now what you'll be doing is you'll be procuring against that budget. So purchasing your contractor, getting your contractor on board, getting your suppliers on board, however you run your projects, you will make sure you're performing against budget. So if we go procurement, we can now procure against each item. So as you see here, these are now shortened tabs for the items that you will procure against. So you've got your professional fees. We'll start here. So as you can see, we've got a budget in here which was for an architect only. We in this project decided the architect was a all-inclusive professional firm that gave you a fixed price for doing all professional services. So you can now look to procure this item. So right, I've got an architect, I need to approve, or should I say procure the architect against the budget, and you want to invite a couple of architectural firms to procure. We want to invite contractors to tender, so we'll go to invite tender. You want to select the contact within your book, so this will be an approved architect or contractor or whoever that may be that you want to invite for tender. So I know that the architect that I want is Travis Walker here. So I'm going to select that person. I can drag attachments, so when this invitation to tender email goes to this person or multiple people, you can select multiple people if you want for the tender. We can drag and drop or browse files, so that could be, I don't know, some basic drawings you may already have, or pictures or particulars, or any document that you think would be pertinent to the supplier having view of in order for them to tender for this job. You can also just go back from this. On the architect, you can add a scope of works. So this is where you can write down unlimited characters, the full scope of the works for this contract. So you can put all professional requirements for this project, including architectural, engineer, and project management. So adding that as a scope, enter there, invite to tender. We've selected Travis Walker, we have dropped our files if we need them. Now we're going to send that request. Again, could be multiple people if you want multiple people tendering, as normal, to make sure you're getting the best value. So this is now turned into in progress. So now Morta's recognised that you've sent this out for tender. This item is now in progress of being procured. Stop there. I'm just going to get the email up, so we don't want to show this to people. I just want to show them the actual email without showing the rest. So as you can see, I've just opened the email that Trevor has got for him to tender for the project as the architect. This is how it gets delivered. This is how all your emails get delivered. So it's lovely. Got your logo on here. Looks really professional. It's your own software, bespoke to you. I can promise you that a lot of your stakeholders will not see this type of professionalism. So it will really stand you above the crowd. So yeah, white labelled, obviously clear there. You've got an invitation to tender. Dear Supplier, you have been invited by Morta Test, which will obviously be your organisation name. We've just put Morta Test in for now for this demo. To tender for the following package, and as you can see there, it's architects is the description of the item. All professional requirements for this project, including architectural engineer and project management. We invite you to review the tender package and submit your proposal. So obviously attached to this email would also be any attachments you put on there. So scroll down to the bottom, again, a little bit of information there, best regards. So as the architect is going to press this button to look at the tender package, and this supplier will come to their own little mini portal. So again, all lovely white labelled with your logo on, and this is where they can submit the tender. So they've got this line here, they put their amount in, so let's say this tender is £9,400, add notes. Let's say the supplier simply states available in 4 weeks, or anything else they want to put on there. Additional information here will require further info. Whatever the supplier, this is the supplier filling this out, of course, and then supporting documents. So you may have asked within the scope or email for them to attach their insurance documents if they're not an approved contractor already on the system. So again, they can drop it on there, and then they're submitting their tender to you. So press that, tender there. So as you can see, as I come back to my screen, I've got a procurement response, if you see bottom right here. So I've received a procurement response for 1 Main Street. It's come up as a lovely notification. So live as I'm in the Morta application, or if you're logging out or log back in, you come into a notification to let you know you've had a procurement response. Trevor Walker has submitted a procurement response. Right, click that. I want to go straight to it to see what this response is. This is a response, so I'm now in procurement. It's telling me what responses I've had. It's Trevor Walker. His response is submit a price for £9,400. We can expand this to view the full details. We've got the full details of their submission. So it's given me again the supplier information that's already in the system, the procurement summary, quote response, the time you received it, timestamp, everything that you need. Lovely, easy to read, saved exactly where you need it. So here you can look at, if you've got a few for this item, it will show you all of your tender responses for the item, and you can choose whether you want to resend the request. So you could think if something has not been included or you need further information, you can resend it and ask them what to say. But for this one, we're going to go to the next stage, which is to procure this contractor. So here you're going to see some more uniqueness about Morta. At the very start, you may have noticed you can upload your own terms and conditions or contract that you use to procure contractors, suppliers, whatever that may be. You can connect your DocuSign here. So when you connect your DocuSign account, that will upload your template, and as you're procuring this contractor, you will go through, it will self-populate all the information that you need, and you can send it with a click of a button, your contract populated for Travis Walker, for architectural service, scope of works included, the requirements within your contract, all T's and C's. They get an email, click the button, signed, all done within Morta, done and dusted. So a procurement that may have traditionally spent several hours as you send out quote emails, formulate, adding documents every time, then having to bring them back, compare them across several Excel spreadsheets and several different submissions. It's all in one. You can see them side by side. Your DocuSign's connected. It's a click of a button and you can procure somebody within minutes. So we're going to say we haven't got DocuSign, we don't have our own terms and conditions at this moment in time, we're just going to accept them. So we're going to accept without DocuSign, which means we're accepting them without them signing terms and conditions within Morta. We're going to do that separately. So accepted without DocuSign. Again, it'll come with a little warning just to make sure you know what you're doing in case you've pressed it by mistake. Accept tender without DocuSign. Yep, I do want to go ahead with that. So that's now done and gone through, and you can see the details here. Again, timestamp, so we can say now the status of this person has now moved to procured. So go back to procurement. Can now see your procurement tracker. We've got a contractor procured for the item within our budget of architect. So that again, you're tracking all of your procurement here as you fill up and start procuring the different items within the project. So if we go back to the main screen of procurement on our budget, we can see within professional fees, we can see this item has been moved to procured. We can issue purchase orders if we want, so we can create a new purchase order here. Again, it puts in a delivery address straight away, self-populates everything, delivery date, the items. I'm sure we're all familiar with purchase orders. So this is just an added bonus if you did want to put that on. And if you're using, let's say an item is you're doing in-house, you're using your own employed staff, but you need to procure materials for an item, you can use this function against the line within the budget to say I'm procuring materials for this item, issue multiple purchase orders, and it'll track your total spend against your budget for that line item, which is good. We won't do that now. So we can see as well, it's also told us our difference, which is our buying gain, as we call it in the UK. So we've had a £600 gain on this item, which means we're currently, the one item we've procured, our total budget, we're overperforming. We've already found £600 worth of savings on the budget. So we have that. We can go to our other items on here and procure all of your items. You can bunch items together if you want. So if you want to send all of your management costs, all of your insurances, whatever that may be, most likely on construction, you might want to tick all of the items. You can invite people for all of the items. So you're not having to do individual items. You can bunk all of them on one tender invitation, which is really good. So lots of flexibility, makes everything super easy. Procurement alone, your team will save tens of hours, if not hundreds of hours on procurement by doing it through Morta. So time savings alone will pay your subscription fee plus lots and lots more, and really easy to track as an owner or senior director of how all of the procurement has been handled. No multiple spreadsheets, everyone using their own Excel, despite you having your own templates. We know how it works in practice. Our lovely friends in the commercial section and operations section like to use their own, so you end up with 20 different variations of Excel spreadsheets and an absolute nightmare to try and tie them all together, especially if that person leaves the company. So yeah, we're procuring all of our items here, and the next thing, we need to obviously manage the suppliers after they're procured. So this will be supplier management. So again, on your commercial section, you can add variations, which unfortunately do happen, as we know as developers. They're the bane of our life, but they do happen. So you can add variations for each contractor when they find items that weren't part of their scope, etc., etc. You also have payment applications. So what's really good is each supplier, through that portal we saw earlier, can submit payment applications and invoices to you for you to then receive within Morta, and you can then send a payment notice on the back end. So stakeholders is a key area here. So we want to add our first stakeholder, which is a procured contractor we just found, and they will have their running, as you can see there, stakeholder already done. Add one contact. That's now a stakeholder. So what will happen here is Travis can submit his invoices and get information from their stakeholder account. So as you can see, Trevor has been added to the stakeholder portal. He's now a procured contractor. He's been added as a stakeholder to the project. So they now have their own client portal. Again, beautifully white labelled, all your bespoke portal. So they can now log into that. They can view their assigned projects. They've got this email to let them know. So it's really easy to access. So again, it means conformity across all of your suppliers. They're all submitting and viewing things exactly the same. No different emails and holding you punishable against each other. So yeah, so you can see their assigned projects. They could have multiple projects here. So they could be on multiple projects, but they're on one main street, which is the project we were working on. Click on it. So they will just click on it as I have done there. They will get all the project details. They can also see their project files, which I'll touch on as we progress through this demo. So you can set up project files, which are just for stakeholders. So they're kept separate to your internal files. So they will be able to access the files there for when they need to download or add things. Location details, so when they need the address, they can quickly come on the portal. The ID number, all of the pertinent information that they need. Payment applications and invoices, which is the really cool bit. So they're submitting a payment application or invoice. They can put some notes there, attach their file, however that may be. So let's say payment application, September 25. Attach files, let's just pick something at random. So we've got a board report we produced earlier, just as an example. Uploaded beautifully, and then right, I'm Trevor. I'm now going to submit my payment application because I want to get paid for the services I have delivered. And it will also show Trevor and any supplier their previous submissions. So they've got a really nifty way to view their own records. So you'll find that it's so much simpler and improves your relationship with all of your contractors, because it also saves them a massive amount of time as well as yourself. So project communication, this could be other communication you have between yourselves. So this is again within your portal. You can have requests back and forth, bits of information, additional items. You can ask them to do everything via this portal. So keeps everything really clean and tidy, really well organised, and makes your life as a property developer much, much easier. So we're now back at our Morta app. So next we're going to go into our payment notices section. So yeah, as we've come back, we can go into our payment application section, and you can see I've got a payment application submitted here by my supplier. So this supplier has submitted a payment application, reading his notes here, and you can see the actions are pending. So they've got an attachment here which you can have a look at. You see I just updated I just uploaded the report as an example, but they would have probably their invoice or an Excel spreadsheet for their payment application. It's pending, and we can change the status to approved, rejected, paid. But what we're going to do is go to our nifty payment notices section now. So we've downloaded that as the owner of the firm, whatever you are. This is obviously a smaller project, so it might just be you. You've reviewed that and said, yep, I want to pay this person now. I'm happy with what they've applied for. Let's call it £4,000 against their £9,400 value. And I want to now issue their first payment notice, which we will do. So we've got the architect here, and review their details, and we're going to issue a payment notice. We're going to create payment notice here. So again, really cool screen showing you all of the important details that you need for this contractor. You can set their retention percentage, which we obviously do for contractors mainly. We're going to set that to 0 because they are an architect, and it's quite normal obviously for us to take retentions from professionals. So we're updating that. So that's now been changed to 0%, as you can see at the bottom. You see it's also telling us the great job we've done here we've saved 6% against our budget on this item, so that's really cool. So we're going to create a payment notice. So I'm going to create a payment notice for this contract. As you can see, I've got another lovely screen which tells me the key information I need. I don't need to go back and forth in between several documents and Excel spreadsheets. Everything is here for me, and it tracks all of my payment notices. So they've applied for 4,000. I've agreed to that. So the gross amount is 4,000. You can see it's already populated. The gross amount is 4,000. It's already reduced the retention that I've put in, so 5% retention I'm holding back from this supplier till the end of the job. Less advance payment, so I've not paid them anything in advance, but this is where you could have if certain contractors or certain suppliers need a payment on account before they open the file. It will also deduct that for you to give you a final amount. It will obviously also take out any previous payments, as you can see here. So balance less previous payments. This is the first payment to them, so our final amount to be paid to them after their retention is £3,800. So the issue date, so if this is all contract date specifics, this is where you refer to your contract. So the contract issue date was, let's say, today is the due date, and the issue date was today. The due date was, let's say, the 17th, and your final payment date is a month from the 17th. Obviously this will be different depending on how you procured them and what your contract states, but let's say their final payment date is the 17th of October. So you can preview this before you create it, add notes here if you need. So even explaining that and going through it with you quite slowly, it was still done within minutes. And now you've got this lovely professional payment notice, no having to convert files, just click of a button, everything's done for you. Got all of the important documents and information, should I say, for this contract, all of the important dates that you need to include on your payment notice. Obviously this is a preview, so it's nice and watermarked because you haven't approved this yet. And then a bit here summarising the payment notice as we saw on our screen earlier. Making it all nice and professional. So we're happy with that. We've seen our preview. We now want to create that payment notice. That payment notice has now been done. And we can now come down here to this payment notice and we can send it to the supplier. So again, quick notice, are you sure you want to send it? Because as we all know, once something is sent from your company, it is official and it has to be paid. Sending my payment notice. So as you can see, that has now been sent successfully. And the next thing it's asking you is to notify the system when it is marked as paid. So again, it can track invoiced versus paid. What I'm going to do quickly now is show you what the supplier would have received so you can see the other side of this. So you can see they get an email like this, payment notice with a reference number from Morta Test, which will obviously be your organisation name. Again, white labelled, all of the key information, really slick email that you've not had to write because Morta has done all of the writing for you. Done in minutes. They've got the key information, the payment breakdown, and if they want, they can download the payment notice, which we saw earlier. All nice and professional. Exactly matches what you've got on your side. So that's the information the supplier gets. And we go back to our system. We can now mark that. So accounts have told us that that's been paid, so we can mark it as paid. Again, quick warning to make sure we're not clicking buttons by mistake. We're marking it as paid. So that's payment notices, and obviously you'll do multiple of these and your final payment notice as well to track everything. Our next tab is our CVR, which is our cost value reconciliation. So this is where we can see basically our budget performance. So as we can see here, it's given us an overview with our key details. Really, really cool especially for an owner, senior director. They can just look at the main KPIs and choose if they want to go into the detail. And you can see here, it's telling you what you've spent, what you've committed to. So this will be payment notices that haven't been paid yet, but you know are coming out. And it will show you your remaining budget, your total amount of your variations, and your current projected profit and loss. All of good budget items, so your base budget, your lending costs, your cash equity required, current budget, and it's showing you everything against items. So you can see on professional fees, the only one we've procured against so far, we can see our utilisation at 38%. And our budget items breakdown, giving you all of the key information on here against your budget. And if you want to download this, so you've got your variations, you've got your payments, it's just showing the one payment you've got, your procurement, so it can show that you've just procured one item so far, the items in progress. This will show you any tenders that have been issued that still haven't been procured against, and our variance is showing a nice £600 performance against budget, a £600 win. So we've got our purchase orders as well, so this one, that's all your purchase orders. And we can download this report if we want to download it in CSV for your full file, or a PDF if you're doing a presentation or sending something to different stakeholders, will that be your lender or various people involved in the project. You can download really nifty PDF. And as you can see here, you've now got your cost value reconciliation for this project, white labelled, all of the project information, everything done for you at a click of a button, your executive summary, and then your detailed breakdown. So as many of you will know, especially in larger organisations, the CVR process can take days of time every single month. This is something you usually do on a monthly basis. So a QS, commercial director, commercial manager, could be potentially per project spending hours/days producing the CVR report. What it takes on Morta is minutes, even less. So as you're procuring as you go along, you are literally pressing a button to create the CVR report and it's done. So the amount of time you're getting back to find budget savings elsewhere, to find time back to spend with your family, to do more valuable things elsewhere instead of admin tasks, the possibilities are endless from the time being saved and producing an even better report that you could produce yourself. So that's our CVR and our commercial functions, which we've done in detail. Again, each screen you can add notes to keep a log of everything you're doing. So CVR produced, sent to board. So that's your full commercial repertoire, which, as I'm sure you can agree, is very powerful and will save an inordinate amount of time for you and your team, for you to spend elsewhere on much more productive tasks or just being on the beach with your family. Next bit, so we've done commercial, we've done our operations, now we'll look at team. So this is a nifty bit where you have your team members in the project. So as you can see on this team, there's several users within our system as part of this project. You can add others, you can invite new people. So this could be someone from your office, could be a partner, whatever that is. You can invite new users or simply assign people within your organisation already that are part of this project and can contribute to it. So you may have an admin person who is doing most of the work on Morta for you, or you could have your commercial manager like here. So add people as being part of the team. Another next bit is files. So here is your project specific files. So this is to do with One Main Street. So as you can see, we've got the stakeholder folder, which we talked about earlier. This is a locked folder. So in here, you can copy and paste documents from the files. So if you say, let's produce a folder here. Let's say you have your drawings file. Let's say you also have a file containing your specifications. And what you can do is in that stakeholders folder, if you click into your drawings folder, you could have a load of files and PDFs here from architects and engineers, and you want to move them across. So all you can do is just copy and upload those to the stakeholder folder, which all of the stakeholders outside of your organisation, so outside of Morta, so these are your suppliers, that will be part of their file they can access. So you can always make sure the files are the latest files. You always manage this to make sure the latest drawings. Again, saving you a massive amount of time in, can I have this, can I have that, and you're sending multiple emails out, trying to track which version of drawings you've sent. Just got one clean folder for all of the people involved in the project outside of your organisation to access. And this can be absolutely anything. So multiple folders, files, all centralised for this specific project. And whilst we're on the topic of files, you will also notice a files tab on the left here. So if we click on there, the difference with these files is these are your organisation files. So these are your company files that are very separate to projects. So you can see we've got here our standard operating procedures, our standard forms that we use, our branding guidelines, all for our company. So very, very separate to our project that we can have here as a company, which are updated. And you can also have your own file as a user. So my own files. And you can create folders and files here that are just for your own personal use. So covers all bases. So we go back to projects. We can see we've updated that project. Our next one will be personal tasks. So really simple to-do list. So as you can see, I've already populated that with my tasks for today, which is to do the demo run through, which we're on now. And then that has a delivery date and priority order, edit demo, post demo. We can do something here. Let's say send out to all Morta staff. I'll add that task. And if I want to change the order, I can drag it up or down. Put that at the top. I can edit it. So I can click the 3 buttons here, edit the full details of this task, edit task here, and it'll also have a timestamp of who and when this was created. You can change the title, you can change the priority to a high priority item, and you can select a due date. Let's say that's the end of the month. Save changes, and that will populate. So these are your personal tasks, and in here you will also have copies of your project tasks. So you'll have seen that from earlier on in the video. Within the project and operations, you have your project specific tasks, which are outside of your personal day-to-day tasks, which we'll just quickly go back into now. Operations and the tasks for this project of 1 Main Street, they're on here now. So all of our projects here, the ones we completed earlier on the video, assigning different team members to each task. So really easy to manage with clear due dates, and reminders are built here, where it reminds each person. You've got an overdue task, perfect example there, and that will remind you every day. So makes it very efficient, gets the best out of your team, absolute clarity, clear communication, including the chat function which we discussed. So when you come into your chat, you can see all of the team have been communicating. You can put on here. So it's just a really cool sort of group message for the full project team to chat with, instead of WhatsApp and losing all different sorts of apps. Absolutely everything end to end is contained within Morta, and you can come back to this several years later, even when staff have left, and see the communications. And you can equally have personal chats with your team members. So if we come back to this main chat function on your left toolbar, I can have a personal chat with my colleague John. We can have back and forth, which is completely separate to the project chats. So we've gone through projects, we've gone through chats and files, we've created inspection. So this is just a shortcut. So if you are on your mobile, this just means there's a shortcut there, so you don't have to click into your project. If you're quickly on the run and you're on site and you want to do a quick inspection report, you can just collect it here, and it'll show you projects, so you can select which project this inspection report will relate to. I'll do it for that one, and it'll take you straight to the screen, and you can do it. So the project name, and as we went through earlier, you can fill all this out. Your next section is your users. So as an admin, you can control the users within your organisation. So here we're going to first of all go on to roles. So this is where we set the permissions for each individual role. So the role you assign to a user, they will automatically have these permissions, which is full admin, which means they can do absolutely everything, including deleting people, inviting people, etc., etc. You've got the commercial side, the operations side, and the opportunity. So the reason they're separated is because you may have a land management team who simply deal with obviously procuring your land, and they only need access to opportunity. They don't need access to the project items post purchasing the land in. So your land manager, I would unclick those and say they just want to be in opportunity access. And your land director could be everything. And then, yeah, you can change your roles here. You can add a new role. Add the role. You see that's at the bottom here. And you're seeing they've just been given access to commercial. I don't want that. I want that role as a site foreman. That site foreman does not need access to all of the commercial items and the budgets. That's quite sensitive information. I just want them having access to the operations side so they can do everything within their job, which is access files, chat, deliver their reports, do inspections, etc., etc. So I'm just going to click operations for that role. So if I do invite somebody and assign them as a site foreman, you can do that. You can change these whenever you want. It updates in real time. Your actions here, just so you're aware, whatever star is highlighted is your usual default role. So I'm going to change that to the default role when I'm inviting a new user to the system will be a project manager. But when you do invite new users, which I will show you, you can change that. So that's just highlighting what your preset is, which you can change when you're inviting people. So next, outside of roles, we'll be managing our users. So as you can see here, we've got 4 users within our organisation that are using Morta at the minute. They're on different access roles. I can delete people and I can change people's roles as I see fit to the roles that we've just seen in the previous screen. So I can change this person to a site foreman there, and they will automatically have their permissions updated. Key date when they joined the software, and you can add a new user from this screen. So as well as your dashboard main screen, you can add users. You can also add users from here. So we'll do that now. So if you want to add new colleagues, you just started using the Morta, and now you want more colleagues invited, you just put their email address in here, their full name, and what role. So as you can see, they put member. We want to invite someone who's an assistant QS or QS, whatever role they're person in, you can change it here, supervisor, and you simply just send the invitation. They will get an email with a quick link to join the organisation, and they have the access that you wanted them to have. Really, really easy, really simple. And this bit here is contacts, which will be a key area for you. This is where you manage all of the external contacts for your organisation. For this is suppliers, lawyers, professional teams, cleaners, whoever it is that provides services or you want to provide services in the future, or any contact of any time. This is like your personal phone book for your organisation. So you've got all your contacts here, but you can look at individuals, you can look at suppliers. So this is your suppliers section, which will be your main area for managing your supply chain. So I'm going to add a new supplier, and I'm going to go through how that works and how they go through the approval process to ensure that you are conforming to your requirements as a company to make sure you're only working with qualified people who are suitable to do the job, which is obviously very important, especially in property and construction. You have a duty to make sure you're working with professionals who can deliver safely what they are being asked to deliver. So we've got a new contact here. Let's call it J Morta. Designation, they're going to be an owner of a contractor. Select a company. I'm going to create a new company. So that will be Morta Construction. It's a main contractor. Let's call it a general contractor. Select their size, 1 to 10 employees. Description, specialise in new build villas. You can put their website on there, the email for the company, put an exact location in. So yeah, you can come in here, again, all linked to Google to make it really easy for you. So you can put their office address, which may be Al Saka Tower in Business Tower in Dubai, which is on Sheikh Zayed Road. And that's them there. You see their office location. So I'm going to create that company. And now I'm going to put the email address in for the person. So we're just going to use one of our addresses, which is support@morta.com. Put their number in there, but you don't need to. And this is the key item here. So this is a supplier, somebody who's going to supply services, supply contracting services to our company. So we're going to click that to say yes, and as you'll see, you've got a note here: suppliers will be required to complete a pre-qualification questionnaire. An email will be sent to them with instructions. So this will be automatically done as soon as you press create contact. It's being created. So now this contact has been created. If they've got a phone number, you've got easy clickable links here to give them a quick call if you're on your phone, WhatsApp, or give them a quick email. You can add notes here. This is really good for performance monitoring. So you could put performed brilliantly on one Main Street project. Great communication. Achieved all targets. So you could put that. So this will really help you in future, because as we know, we're dealing with a lot of people all of the time, just keeping notes, and colleagues keeping notes of different contractors, so you can monitor their performance when you're looking to procure them on a future project. This person is an owner and they're an unverified supplier, and that is because they have not filled out their questionnaire and uploaded their documents yet. So I'm going to go to the email that they will have received as a supplier. And this is what they've got. Again, your brand. Hello, J. Morta. We kindly request you to complete the supplier questionnaire. So they click here and they're going to go through to their portal as a new supplier. Again, makes it really easy for them, but also easy for you, because instead of sending them multiple forms for them to fill out, print off, waste paper, scan in, you to have to go through every single section, they do everything for you in the exact form that you want it, send into your software at Morta, and you can monitor it really easy. So you can see they've got multiple different sections that they need to fill out: the organisation and basic details that you need, their financial details, quality, equal opportunities, all of the key bits that you want to know about all of your suppliers on here, and then a key declaration. So let's say they've put that in. Main Street. Name, yep, their trading name is Morta Construction. Same registered address, company number, let's make up a number here. Company UTR number for tax. Their telephone numbers, you can choose which country they're in. Company contact, we know that it's going to be Jay at this company, who's the owner. Contact email addresses, so the company's main. They will fill all of this out as a supplier with their own details. When was their organisation established? They can select 2021, say the 19th of January. How many staff? Principal fields, main contractor. And they're going to go to the next section. So they've filled that out, and now they're in the financial details. They're going to talk about their financial performance, turnover, revenue, any serious judgments that they've had, cessation of trading. So they're going to save their progress on this. So they will work on filling this out, but what you will do within your Morta is we're going back to Jay's. We're just going to reload our screen. And we're going to go to view the questionnaire. So we can actually see on our side as the organisation within Morta, we can see what progress they're making. So you can see they've filled out their first detail that's been completed. You can see in real time where they're up to on their questionnaire. And obviously as part of this, they also have to upload documents, insurance documents, quality accreditation, etc., etc. And you have it all on here for you to access and double check. So you can check absolutely everything on here, all the sections, all delivered to you, really easy to read and review. And once you're happy, you can say either reject, you say, right, I'm not happy, they've not provided certain documents that I needed that were part of this, they've rushed it, they've not done it properly, so I'm going to reject it. And here it'll send their questionnaire back with a response, and it could be not sent insurance documents, or whatever it may be, and you can tick to resend the questionnaire to fill out again, and then you just reject there. What we're going to do on this one is we're going to say this one's been perfect, the first contractor ever to do it right the first time, and they're approved. This is now an approved supplier of your organisation. This questionnaire is still there, all the details are saved within this contact form for this supplier, so you can come back to it. You can resend the questionnaire when it's out of date, so you can resend them at any point. If they're now no longer qualified, something happens, they need to go back through qualification criteria. And you can see we've got timestamps and who exactly did everything within Morta for this contractor. Full visibility, nobody can hide. Perfect for owners and stakeholders alike. So we're going to go back to that. Back into our contacts. See here, we can go to suppliers, and we can see we've now got a verified supplier. So when you're looking to tender, obviously there's going to be certain items that you're tendering out for that you don't have verified suppliers for, but most of the time you'll have your verified supply chain, your approved supply chain, and it'll make it really easy when you're selecting who you want to tender. The ones that highlight green, verified supplier, they're going to be added to the tender list before this person. And then you've got your stakeholders next. So we can see Travis Walker is a stakeholder because that person we assigned earlier as the architect on our One Smith Street project. So that's now an official stakeholder within one of our projects or multiple. And then you can look on a company's basis, which companies, and then you can add companies here. So you can add new companies from this section. Do it as a grid view or a list view, whatever is easier for you. Or contacts, and obviously you can search your contacts because once you get to the point you may have hundreds, you may have thousands of contacts, and you can make it really easy to search which people, what designation they are, whether it's company or the individual person. You can break it down as you see fit. So that's the contact section. Next we go to settings. Settings are your general settings for your organisation within Morta. And here your general settings is your name of the company, so we've got it up as test, but you may want to change that to John Properties, maybe your name. You may want to choose a different file for your logo, the description of what your company is, so we can say we are developers of executive homes in Texas, USA. We can save our changes there. And this is the other section where you can come and upload, which we discussed earlier in your procurement items. You can upload your company's legal contract documents here to make it really easy to send those out. And here is where you also edit your stage templates. So what we discussed earlier, you have the 3 main stages which Morta have set up for you, which are great and something we use in our development company as well. So, but if you do want to change it, every company works different, then you can go in here, you can edit each stage, you can add stages and change that template as you see fit. Or if you make a mistake, you can simply reset to default. Next one is billing. So this is where you come if you want to review, you want to upgrade, downgrade your package with Morta, you want to pay monthly, and it'll show you your current plan. So this is a pro build annually. So we went for the best package and got the best discount by paying annually. And it'll show you the features of your plan. You can manage your subscription here. Next, we are on one of the most important parts of Morta, which is your dashboard. So nifty part as well, we can get rid of this left hand toolbar so we can get a bigger screen. So here you have 14 main dashboard reports. So you have your business overview, you've got total projects currently active, total in opportunity, and you've got your amount of outstanding tasks that you need to complete. You've got a quick overview of your pipeline, which has an even more in-depth report further down. So you've got a lovely pipeline GDV, so gross development value. So this shows our current pipeline and the total value of that pipeline. Something really important for especially senior C-suite employees to know exactly where you're at as a company and your pipeline over the coming years. And again, your expected net profit, which will show as per the budgets you and your team have filled out. So your pipeline is populated with all of your live projects that have got to instruct legals or after. So obviously we only want projects in our pipeline that we've actually secured, and they're usually secured at the point that you've agreed to buy and you're in legals. So obviously some of them can still fall out of bed and end up not completing, which they'll come back out of this pipeline. But that's the key stage for them to be included in your pipeline. Everything's updated in real time, no waiting. As soon as something's saved within seconds, it's live on this dashboard. You've got quick actions here. If you want to invite team, add task, upload documents. You've got your projects by stages. So you can see we've got 3 in delivery stage, 1 in opportunity stage. I'm just giving you a breakdown of which projects they are. Each one, you can also see that in chart form if you wanted to. So you can see here, we've got 3 in delivery, 1 in opportunity. Overdue tasks, overdue RFIs will show up here if you do have any, which we don't currently, but that will list your overdue tasks. And then you've got your pipeline value here, a bit more details. You can see our current pipeline total revenue is 101 million, net revenue, our total projected profit. And then you've got all your detailed analytics here, all your detailed current project profit and losses for your projects. You've got program progress, so this is obviously your scheduled progress on your projects, which we saw in the planning stage. Again, you can see that as a chart as well. So you can see which ones are behind, which ones are in front. Again, this dashboard is to give you the overview of all of your KPIs, your key indicators for the performance of your company. And then you've got your notifications here as well. You have got that bell in the top right as we saw earlier, but you can see here you can view all your notifications. And then your budget performance. This will show you basically the overview of your CVRs for all of your projects, so you can see how you're performing. Good thing about your dashboard, you can also customize how you see it. So if you wanted to bring your project profit and loss to the very top, you could do. You can see it's half a screen currently. I want to put that across the full screen, so that expands it there, all done in real time. So you can move your dashboard around as you see fit. Project this onto your screen in your office, however you want to do it. This will give you all your key information. Again, really, really slick. And that is it. Thank you for choosing Morta. We are constantly improving, so we're currently at pre-launch stage, so there will be some certain small minor bugs, but nothing that isn't in progress, and we will be improving features all the time to make it even better. An app that I think is already completely cutting edge and the first of its kind for property developers will be made even better. So thank you for joining us, and best of luck with Morta. Reach out if you need